Nefesh should have come to me.
Shh, Uxul, I'm all right.
You almost died. What's she doing here?
I asked the Moshai to set up a meeting. I don't want us to be enemies.
Is this true?
Uxul, Ryder rescued me from the Ket. She risked her life to...
Sloane Kelly saved Kadara. Look how that went.
I want to be allies. Equal allies.
You don't even treat your own equally. Isn't that why the Krogan left?
How did you...
I've been watching you. You're invaders just like the Ket, except less cautious.
What does that mean?
You'll know soon enough. Do not trust them, Chauvin.
Uxul... He didn't used to be like this. He was curious, brilliant. But the Ket, even without exaltation, they change us.
There's still time to bring him around.
I want to believe that, but his hatred towards aliens...
I'll prove we can be trusted.
I hope so.
Ryder, we just received an emergency recording from EOS. Come to the meeting room when you get back to the Tempest.
I found a device Ven was using to communicate with the Archon. I think we can use it to triangulate that Ket flagship's nav point.
All you have to do now is board it, steal the Meridian artifact, and escape in one piece.
You've been there. Tell me what to expect.
I saw very little. Corridors, an interrogation room, my prison cell. The Archon's vessel is a place of pain and death for the Ket's enemies. No one has attempted anything like this before. For all our sakes, you must succeed. Now it's my turn. Thank you for freeing Ven to Rafat Kadara. I'm told you saved him from execution.
What will you do with him? Are there prisons here?
Ephra wanted to punish him. I suggested Ven help tend Aya's gardens. He spent too long surrounded by death. He needs to reconnect with life.
I'd like to know more about you.
What about me intrigues you?
You're an expert on several topics. Remnant, Ket, stuff I don't even know exists.
All true. Why? Do you want to be my student?
Is that an option? Because I didn't train for this job. At all.
Yet you do it well. There are two kinds of knowing. What we take in from the universe, and what's already inside us. You have the essentials figured out. The rest you can learn as you go.
Are you originally from Aya, or someplace else?
I was born on a research vessel in deep space. My parents were explorers. They never stayed in one place long. My own work has taken me to every world, many times over. They all try to claim me as their own, but if I'm honest, my favorite chair is here.
You and my crewmate have a close relationship. Any advice? Hints?
He talks in his sleep. Worth it for the look on your face. Jarl is a dear and hopeless former student. He has a good spirit. You're lucky to have him, that's all.
What are you working on these days?
I thought being a Ket prisoner was the worst fate imaginable. Then I got home and saw my backlog. A Valek comes in every so often asking if I have a second. At this rate, I'll never catch up. To answer your question, I'm busy with everything and nothing. We'll see which wins.
My translator doesn't know what to do with your title, Moshai.
Because it isn't a title, it's a reference. People from mythological times, before the Scourge. Legends say we once had many Moshai. Master inventors of unfailing wisdom, guided by boundless compassion.
That's a lot to live up to.
It's nonsense. Don't remember who first called me Moshai, but I do recall telling them to shut up. To my regret, the name stuck. I've minded less lately. Being the Moshai has its uses.
Any ideas on how we stop the Ket for good?
The real question is, how do we define victory over them? Complete eradication? Unlikely, costly, and morally dubious. Drive them away? How? What stops them from returning?
Peaceful coexistence doesn't seem to be an option.
There's much we still don't know. The Ket are not a simple problem. We can't reduce them to a simple solution.
When the Ket are gone, if we fix all these worlds, what do the Angara want?
Depends who you ask. We're individuals. Paran will continue spreading hope and optimism. I don't know what Ephra will do without an enemy to fight. Retirement won't suit him. As for me, maybe I'll just fade away. That's what people do when they're no longer needed, right?
Thank you, Moshae.
Ishare.
My people on Kadar are fighting a bacterial infection. Do you have antibiotics?
Of course. Will this do?
I detect the infrared dye Sorvis Len used to mark the person who threatened him.
That's our man.
I know why you're here. The botanist. You want an apology for what I said to him.
I only have one side of the story. Tell me yours.
It's hard to explain.
Try me?
Aya isn't big enough to give everyone a home. We each live here a short time and then move on. For someone to come, another must go. The exchanges are chosen at random. We call this arrangement the Vassal, time of change. It worked well, until now.
You lost someone you cared about. Was it because of the Vassal?
That's one way to see it. When our leaders agreed to make a place for your people here, it came with a cost. My friend won a place on Aya, but he sold that slot so one of you could stay here instead.
Sold it how? What did he get?
Comforts for his family, resources to improve their home on Haval. He always put others before himself. That's how he died, fighting Ket on Vold. When I found out, I was angry. Said things to your botanist I shouldn't have, but I'd never hurt your people.
He thinks you want him dead. Tell him what you just told me, and let's move on.
Thought I was clear the first time. Maybe his translator malfunctioned.
I'll talk to our ambassador, see if we can minimize our impact on your Vassal.
We don't expect things to be easy. Only that you understand, nothing is free for us. That's quite the gift you sent. Insane AI. Real attention grabber.
I couldn't leave it on Vold. Maybe it'll help someday.
Have to talk it out of killing itself first. What do you need?
You've been fighting Ket a long time. Any advice?
Your war's different from ours.
It's still a war, and we're not prepared for it.
Wouldn't matter if you were. The Ket aren't a conventional enemy.
Any idea where they came from? A homeworld somewhere?
Each of our colonies heard a different story. I doubt any were true. They came from far away. That's all we know.
Ever tried following a Ket ship to see where it goes?
Of course we did. Wherever home is, they don't visit.
Do the Ket have a favorite strategy? Something we can exploit?
They switch tactics constantly, almost capricious about it. Makes them unpredictable.
They must have some weakness.
They're vulnerable to brute force. That's enough.
The Ket aren't mindless monsters. They must care about something.
Slaves, resources, power. Same as any conqueror.
You didn't see the exaltation process. Treat it like religion.
They convert us against our will. That's not religion, it's genocide. Every culture has its purpose. Theirs is to take whatever they want.
There's no official Angaran military, just the Resistance?
Lost our fleets and armies decades ago. Ket mostly. The rest fell to internal strife. We kept fighting, but our civilians were disorganized, poorly supplied, leaderless. Decades of aimless defiance got us nowhere. I had to make the Resistance real.
How is the Resistance organized?
Loosely, we operate in cells. Independent strike teams have better odds. If the Ket capture a cell, it doesn't compromise the rest.
How'd you wind up in charge?
Nothing to lose. My family was rounded up into a Ket slave camp. Last contact I had with any of them was 10 years ago.
They could still be alive.
Didn't figure you for an optimist.
What success have you had against the Ket?
Enemy casualties are up 600% in 3 years. But that's just a number. Every time we destroy a facility, take out a warship, we give our people hope.
And you're not fighting alone anymore.
We'll see.
I've seen armed people in uniform. They're not Resistance?
Aya police, purely ornamental, gives us the appearance of civilization.
You don't think they're necessary?
If things go bad, the Resistance will handle it.
That's up to the governor, isn't it? What do you think of your governor?
She governs Aya, not the Resistance.
Way to avoid the question. Is there history between you?
I can always count on Paran to offer a spirited argument.
You respect her.
She holds her own. Not many do.
What's your story, Ephra?
You're not getting my personnel file.
I'd just like to know who I'm working with.
You want to know what it's like being me? I wake up every morning to fight a war. I send people to kill and die. If I'm lucky, there are more dead Ket than Resistance when I go to sleep.
That's a hell of a burden.
Enough personal discussion.
I hope the initiative is making a good impression.
The initiative. Sounds so unthreatening, like a city planner meeting.
That's kind of what it's meant to be.
City planners don't walk around in battle armor with rifles on their shoulder.
Depends on the city. My point is, we traveled through dark space to build something here.
That's what invaders always say. At first.
We're not invaders.
Of course.
I'll let you get back to it.
Good.
Routine variant to replace them? No, 6-9 is too unstable. We out of food in 2 days, out of ammo in 3. They have to fall back.
Sounds like you've got trouble.
Too many Ket, not enough resistance. Have a team that's been in the field for 6 months without resupply. They won't come in. Say they're close to taking down a Ket outpost, but I don't know.
Give your team a chance to pull it off.
We fought best when the odds are against us. Maybe you're right. This is the hardest part of my job. Thank you for the advice, Pathfinder.
Good to see you. Any news on what happened to Sorvis Len?
Do you know about the Vassal? The Angaran lottery that decides who gets to live on Aya.
I've heard of it. Why?
Angara are selling their slots to come here so our people can stay in their place. Including a member of the Angaran resistance. He was killed on Vold. Wouldn't have happened if he'd been here.
No one told me of this arrangement. Well, we have to do something.
We could let Angara who give up their slots live on the Nexus. It's safer than Vold.
Exactly what I was thinking. No one should suffer on our behalf. Thank you, Pathfinder. I'll forward your proposal to Director 10 immediately.
That's all for now.
I'm here if you need anything.
I found Kiloa seeds for Eos. Is this enough?
It's perfect. I'll make sure Eos gets them.
Here, I have the antibiotics for Kadara. Will the settlers be okay?
Once they have these, they'll be fine. I'll make sure they know who to thank.
Here, I found the solar amplifier for Vold.
They'll be happy to see this. No more power outages. Thank you, Pathfinder.
Ambassador Realis said you're thinking of moving to the Nexus.
Pathfinder. I'm honored even to be considered for the transfer, but I won't be happy as just an observer. I need to work. I engineer power systems. Will I be allowed employment alongside your people?
If you put in a request, someone will get back to you.
And if they refuse? I'll have to think about it. Thank you, Pathfinder.